Alright guys, so today we're going to take a look at the Xiaomi Buds 4 Pro. And I want to go ahead and get this out of the way at the beginning of the video. I really do consider these to be the AirPods Pro for Android devices. And that's both a good and a bad thing. So we're going to talk about all of these different things that this pair has to offer. It's not really a product that is necessarily available for people in the US, although there are ways to get it. I did have to kind of even do a price conversion to find out what the price actually is of this product. Coming in at 240 pounds, that converts over to $284 for this pair of true wireless earbuds. Now, Xiaomi is not like an unknown company. In fact, they're very well known worldwide. Maybe not so much in the US, but they do have access to a lot of the same technology and things that Apple and Samsung and bigger companies like that would have access to. So what makes this pair stand out? What makes them comparable to the AirPods Pro? It actually has a bunch of interesting features. Now, it does have the fast pairing feature through Google because it has Bluetooth 5.3. It also has adaptive active noise canceling. So it has a way to just kind of, change the noise canceling levels based on the environment that you're in. It also is a high-res wireless audio certified product because it has LDAC support, but we're seeing this on a lot of newer earbuds. But it's also using a dual magnet super balanced driver. It has spatial audio, or what they're calling dimensional audio. This is the technology that has it where your head moves and you can tell that the audio is kind of moving around with you. And it also has multi-point connection, which is a feature that I feel like every new earbud should have at this point. Now, as far as the availability in colors, it's available in what they're calling a space black and a star gold. I have the star gold model here. And the first thing I want to say is the case and the earbuds are fingerprint magnets. Now, if you have them clean, they just look super nice. But as soon as you touch them, as soon as you just pick them up at all, they're going to have fingerprints on them. So you're going to definitely want to make sure to have a microfiber cloth with you. And they call their case a space capsule. You can see that the case kind of opens up in like a garage door kind of way. The case itself is built pretty nice. It is about the size of the AirPods Pro case. On the bottom, it has the USB-C input. Next to that is the pairing button. And then right up front is the single indicator light. That way you can kind of gauge how much battery life is left on the case. But the earbuds, now again, this kind of goes back to the AirPod Pros. They use the squeeze gesture, so it's not touch controls and it's not like an actual physical button. You have to use the squeeze gestures to get it to play, pause, skip your tracks forward, go backwards, switch it into noise canceling or transparency mode. And sadly, there is no volume control on these, and there's no way to add that on to here. It does work with the Xiaomi Buds app, but it doesn't work on iOS. That app is not compatible if you're using an iPhone or an iPad or anything like that. So it is really kind of geared towards using for an Android device. But also within the app, this will allow you to keep your earbuds updated. It allows you to switch it into that spatial or directional audio mode. And it has 6 different active noise canceling modes. And I like this because it's not just all or nothing. It also gives you 3 different transparency modes, which we'll talk about. But let's go ahead and talk about the spatial audio first. Now, if you are interested in this, I think this pair does an excellent job with this. It doesn't sound too artificial, but I still feel like this is really good for movies and videos. And I don't really like this feature to be used with music. I think it just takes away from how things are really meant to sound. So, I like that they have this feature available, but it's not something that I found myself using often. But the active noise canceling on this pair is fantastic. This pair, I feel, is very close to the Sony or Bose, but in this price range, I definitely think it needed to be. If you're going to use this at the max level, I feel like not only does it do a good job of blocking out engine noises, AC units, and anything that has those lower tones, it really does a very good job of blocking out people talking, which is very impressive. But the different noise canceling modes that you have what they call a bookshop mode, I guess kind of like being in a library. There's an office mode where you would have a little bit more noise around you that you're trying to block out. There is a street mode, so if you're going to use these out in public. There's also a gym mode, which, in a gym, you're kind of trying to block out people talking, but also music that would be played in a gym. There's a metro station or subway type mode. That's going to block out a little bit more noise than some of the other modes. And then there is an airport mode. So there's plenty of different ones to switch between. And the same thing with the transparency mode. You have 3 modes here, which is basically like a regular mode. There's an ambient enhanced mode that's trying to make it where you can hear a little bit more of your surroundings. It's trying to boost the mics a little bit in this mode. And then there is a vocal enhanced mode. So if you're going to be talking to somebody, this is the mode that you would want it in. And I think it does an excellent job in all 3 different modes. I think the mics on here are fantastic. But being able to carry on a conversation, you can easily do without taking the earbuds out. But speaking of taking the earbuds out, this pair does have the smart sensors. So if you do take them out, it will just pause what you're listening to. And then when you put them back in, it just goes back to what you're listening to. It comes in with an IP54 rating, which means not only is it protected against, splashes and rain and sweat and things like that, you also get a certain amount of dust protection. So it makes it for a pair that you can use at the beach or anywhere where it may be dusty, like a construction site. You don't have to worry about that damaging your earbuds. Now, as far as what all they've included in the box, it's pretty simple here. You do get 3 sets of what they call liquid silicone ear tips. They do have a very light feel to them. It also comes with a USB-C cable, and luckily you don't have to use this USB-C cable because the case is also a Qi wireless charging case. So you could just come in, drop it on any wireless charger, and then you're good to go. But speaking of the charging, battery life is very impressive on this pair. Now, the only specs or anything that I can find is just using them with the noise canceling off and just listening to music as it is. You're going to be able to get about 9 hours on the earbuds and about 38 hours using the case, where I feel like with the noise canceling, it definitely knocks it back a couple of hours. So you're looking to get about 6.5 to 7 hours on the earbuds. But also keep in mind, if you're going to use these in LDAC mode, that is also going to significantly affect your battery life. That's going to bring it down below 5 hours on the earbuds themselves. So, there's different things that can definitely affect the battery life. But now a huge plus is, though, if you pick the earbuds up and they are dead, there's an impressive fast charge feature on this pair where a 5-minute charge will give you 3 hours of use. And that's easily some of the best that I've seen on a pair of earbuds. To get that amount of battery life on a quick 5-minute charge is very impressive. But what's also impressive is the mics that are on these. Now, that should be expected because this is a company that also makes phones. You can tell that there was a lot of focus on making sure that it's picking up your voice clearly, but it's also doing a really good job of blocking out your surroundings. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. Alright guys, so here's the mic test using the earbuds, and this is definitely one area I was very impressed with. I think it just picks up my voice fairly naturally. You do notice some digital noise and a little bit of warmth, but this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here's the mic test with a crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound. Now this sound is definitely where these separate from the AirPod Pros. I feel like the Xiaomi Buds 4 Pro are a much more dynamic, in-your-face sound than the AirPods Pros. And I think that's going to be more pleasing to most people. I think a lot of people are looking for that really punchy bass, which this pair definitely delivers in. It has that subwoofer type effect, but it is still pretty punchy. It's tight. It's not like completely loose where it comes in and just destroys everything else. The mids I felt like were pushed up definitely enough where you can hear male and female vocalists clearly. I had no issue with hearing certain instruments that mids pull out. And the treble on here can definitely even hit that point of being bright. So it is an extremely dynamic sounding earbud. Some people are not going to like that. If you are a purist or an audiophile, this will be an immediate turn off. But you can tell that it's tuned to fit that consumer friendly sound, and it's not trying to hide that. It's definitely boomy. It's bright. But they did a very good job to make sure that it works well across all genres. But the one thing that this does affect is the soundstage and the sound imaging. This isn't a very open sounding earbud. Because of it being that dynamic, it does close it in a little bit. Also, when you have the noise canceling on, it closes it in a little bit more and makes these sound a little bit warmer. But for the most part, it's not one of those drastic differences. You know, as soon as you turn noise canceling on, it just kind of changes your music altogether. I didn't experience that with this pair, but again, I wish they were a little bit wider sounding, but being able to tell where things are coming from, this pair has no issues with that at all. So if I'm going to break it down into the different categories, if you mainly listen to pop and hip hop, this is easily a 10, and I haven't given anything a 10 in any category yet, but you can tell that that's what these earbuds are geared towards. But if you're somebody that listens more to rock or metal or anything, you know, any genre that's similar to those, I then will bump it down to a 7. I think having that overpowering bass at times can, you know, kind of just take away from listening to those genres. And kind of the same thing with easy listening. Even though the mids are very good on this pair, bass isn't always welcomed in those genres. And so I felt like in that I would give it a 7 as well. But when it comes to media, and I think this is more because this pair has Bluetooth 5.3, I didn't really have any lag with movies or videos, and there's just like a slight lag when it comes to gaming, but also having that dimensional audio adds an element that's enjoyable with media. So I would give these an 8 in that category. So my overall rating on this pair, and this is without kind of factoring in the price, I would give these a 7. I feel like there's a lot that people are going to be happy with, but if I am going to factor the price in, it's really going to bring this pair down to like a 6. I think for the price, that's when you're obviously going to look at the Sony or the Bose or the Sennheisers. You have even the NeuroTrue Pro. You have some really good options in this price range. It's going to be hard for these to compete with that. So my overall opinion is, yeah, I think it's a really great earbud overall. I think you're getting great active noise canceling. You're getting great battery life. There's some nice features. Really, my only complaint from a technical standpoint is there's no volume control. The sound is fit to please the general public. I mean, it does have that consumer curve that a lot of people are going to be happy with. I think they're fun to listen to. I do feel like it takes me out of some of the genres that I listen to the most, but I didn't find it to be distracting. I just found at times I would maybe want to reach for another pair that I felt was better for rock or metal or anything that's a little bit more vocal driven. But guys, that's my video on the Xiaomi Buds 4 Pro. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.